Hey everyone, Cody here, and it's been a little while. If you've followed this channel for any length of time, then you would know that I haven't really been around much. Well, let's kind of talk about that and where I've been, but also why I'm actually making a painting video again. So, over the past about 2 years, I haven't really painted. I stopped painting, I believe, in 2021. It's kind of when I gave it up. And the one thing that I heard over and over again was, oh, you gave up the painting? Like, people were very disappointed that I gave up the painting. And I guess it's understandable when you get used to seeing someone do something for an extended amount of time. When you see, you kind of come to know or equate something that someone does with their personality, you kind of come to expect certain things of them, right? And this can be good or bad, not just necessarily their profession or their hobby, but also, it could be a thing of character. If someone had good character, you expect them to be trustworthy because they tell the truth, then you would equate that characteristic with that person. But a lot of times I think our vocation, so our job or our hobbies, is just an easy thing to equate to somebody. It's kind of a visible thing, right? And so we tend to equate the things that we can see very easily with a person because it's that easy thing to equate with them. And so when I was painting for those years, from 2017 to about 2021, that's what a lot of people kind of equated to me. They equated the painting to me. And that's just kind of how I became known. And this isn't just online or on YouTube. I mean, this is in general. People in my actual life, people that I knew, in real life, both well and not so well, they kind of started to equate me with that, the paintings. And so they would see the videos online, they would see the different, videos that I did or the different paintings that I posted. And that's just kind of what they equated me with. They're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you do the paintings, right? And I was like, yeah, that's what I do. And so when I stopped painting, pretty much everybody had the same reaction. Like, oh, you stopped painting. And they were like disappointed. It's like, because I wasn't the thing that they had made me out to be in their own head, a painter, I no longer kind of satisfied some idea or image they had of me any longer. And I can understand it. I'm not upset or disappointed in anyone. I can understand that if you see somebody do something for an extended amount of time, then you're going to equate that thing with them. I think the same thing would be true with Bob Ross, right? When we think of Bob Ross, we don't really, most of us don't really know anything outside of his paintings. We don't know much about his life or the things that he dealt with outside of that, unless you go and look those things up. But if you just saw Bob Ross paintings as a kid, like I did, then that's all you know about him. But the same thing could be true about, musicians or writers like Stephen King. Stephen King has been writing for 50 years or something. So it's like you would associate Stephen King with writing. Now, he may have done other things, but because that's the thing that's most prevalent about his history, that's the thing that you would equate. So it's understandable. And I get it. Again, not disappointed or upset or anything like that. It's just that's what people equated me to. So when I quit painting, I kind of decided to do some other things. I did some writing. I tried to do some other video stuff. Tried blogging. And if you've watched any of my update videos, I wrote a few poetry books, which I really liked. Not a lot of people did like them, but, I liked them, and that was kind of important to me. And I also, worked on some website stuff and, like I said, did some video stuff. So a lot of different things kind of in the last 2 years that I've kind of put my name to. And I really, again, like doing those things. I enjoyed all of it. However, the one thing that I will say is that even though I enjoyed it, not necessarily any of it really took off the way that I expected, and that's okay. I think the biggest thing that I would kind of bring out of all of this is that we often tend to think that just because we enjoyed something, very heavily at one point, that we're going to enjoy that thing the same way for all of our life. Just because I enjoyed painting for a certain period of time, does that mean that I'm going to do it my entire life? I don't think so. I think because we see people like Stephen King who have been writing for so long, that is kind of true in life in general, that we have to do a thing all of our life. In fact, a lot of our society kind of teaches this concept. It teaches this idea that, once you become a thing, you're always that thing. Even in vocation, if you were going to be a doctor or a lawyer, you spend so many years kind of learning to be that thing, and then you're that thing, and then you cannot be anything but. But I think that this is flawed, right? I don't think that this is a kind of a healthy way to look at this, because honestly, I think a lot of us, we do get tired of the things that we thought that we would never get tired of. You see, when I started painting, I had thought that this is the thing, right? This is the thing that I would do the rest of my life. I really did think that. And I kind of hoped it, in fact. And it turned out not to be the case. I really did enjoy it, and I don't, miss doing any of it. I don't miss, making any of the paintings I made. I don't miss doing any of the videos or, anything like that. However, I didn't enjoy it for as long as I thought I would. That I would enjoy it, like I said, the rest of my life. But over time, my joy for it kind of slowly died out. And maybe this is just a thing of me. Maybe it's a personal thing that I was going through, and it's not true for everyone. But, it just made it very difficult for me. And so I just couldn't, I couldn't justify doing this any longer. I tried for quite a while to kind of get over it, if you will, to kind of fight through it. But I couldn't. I couldn't justify doing it anymore when I didn't enjoy it. And so I stopped. And, I've done a lot of different things over the years. I've painted, I've drawn. When I was younger, I used to draw all the time. When I was a kid, the big thing was Yu-Gi-Oh! And I remember one of the coolest things I ever drew as a kid was this Blue Eyes White Dragon. And if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even know what that is, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, when Yu-Gi-Oh! First came out, that was the thing. That was the coolest, card. It was, really strong, and it looked cool. Dragons are cool, right? So, I had this, I drew this Blue Eyes White Dragon, and, it took me hours to draw this thing. I don't know, maybe 10 hours, 5 hours. It was years ago. But it took me hours, and I was really proud of it because it looked very much like the card, and it took me a lot of effort. And I would draw all these other drawings, and I think that hobbies are kind of like your vocation as a kid, right? You think that you're going to do these vocations as a kid. So I thought that I was going to get into video game design. That was kind of like my goal was video game design. And, as a kid, you just kind of have this romanticized idea of working in video games. And then as you get older, you kind of realize what it entails, and you're like, maybe I'm not ready to make that sacrifice. like, it sounds good as a kid to say that you're going to join NASA or be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, right? I don't know what kid wants to be a lawyer, but you get my point. As a kid, you kind of have these romanticized ideas of what that thing means. And then you get older and you're like, well, maybe I don't want to do that. You know, you realize kind of the effort that it would take, or you realize that it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be to do that thing. But regardless, you lose interest in it. So you lose it. You know, how many of us as kids thought that we were going to be a thing? And we were so dead set too. As kids, we were so dead set. Like, I'm going to be this thing for sure. And then we're not. You know, we end up being something completely different. You know, I thought I was going to be a game designer. Then I thought I was going to be like somebody working with robots. And then I thought I was going to be an illustrator, like a comic book artist or something. And, you know, none of those things worked out. I work in a warehouse roasting coffee now. So completely different. But my point out of all of that is, you know, we were very sure as kids. But then we get older and, you know, our life situation kind of dictates for a lot of us what we end up doing. And so the job that I have now is not a job that I would have picked myself. It's, you know, just a job that I kind of fell into. And now I really like my job, but, you know, it's not something I would have picked. I would never have thought as a kid that I'd be in coffee roasting. But again, sometimes our life circumstances dictate, you know, what we do. And so that was my case. And as such, that is actually how I got into painting. So I've always written off and on throughout the years. In fact, I used to have a business doing, you know, blogging for websites where I would, you know, get them ranked in Google very highly with blogging. And then I would, you know, promote products to make money. You know, it's called affiliate marketing. And so I would do this affiliate marketing, and I would, you know, have to write the content for the blogs. You know, this was way before AI, and, you know, I could hire writers, but they never had like the voice that I wanted. And so I would, you know, write these blog posts myself, and I spent a lot of time writing. Like, I was actually a decent writer. I actually wrote a few books on my own. So I had a few books that I wrote, a couple novels. I wrote a fantasy novel. I wrote a murder mystery novel. I was working on this kind of like, I guess, short story series about this bounty hunter at the end of during the apocalypse. So I've always kind of written, and that was actually what I went back to actually when I stopped painting. I wrote those poetry books and a couple nonfiction books. But essentially, I've done that over the years, and I thought I would go back to that. But when I was out of work back in 2017, I watched a video that was about abstract painting. And it was these guys like kind of making fun of abstract art. And I've talked about this before, but I saw that video and I saw them kind of making fun of Jackson Pollock and modern art and all this other stuff. And while I understand in the video they were kind of like mocking it, I actually really liked seeing the paintings. I thought they were actually really cool, and I was really intrigued by it. And so watching these videos about these guys talking about modern art and how it sucked and all this, I actually got excited. And I was like, man, I want to try that. And thus, that is how I got into the painting. And every time that I had like a hobby where I was, you know, doing something, I thought that that thing was going to be the thing that I did the rest of my life. Every time. Did not matter. I always thought that that was going to be the thing that I did the rest of my life. And every time, it wasn't. So I guess my point here is that I don't know about you, but I've been through phases where I thought that the thing that I was going to do at that time was the thing that I would do the rest of my life. And it's turned out to me to be the case that that isn't true. And, you know, I was kind of disappointed, a little sad to walk away from the painting, because it's actually the one thing that I did very consistently for so long. So, you know, as far as length of time goes, it's actually the one thing like I said, I've painted off and on, I've drawn off and on, but I did painting for, 4 or 5 years. And so it was honestly the longest thing that I had done consistently. But I didn't have any joy in it. I was making the videos just because I felt like I had to, and I was putting out the paintings because I felt like I had to. And there was just a lot going on in my life, and there was also a lot going on behind the scenes with the channel and the paintings. And, I was out of work for part of that time, and the paintings weren't selling, and, I wasn't getting any traction, and there was just a lot going on. And I just lost my joy for it. And I thought, why would I continue to make something that I'm not enjoying myself? You can kind of tell, right? If I just tried to fake it, and make it as if like there was nothing wrong, it would come out in the videos, and it might have already come out in the videos. I think I'm going to stop right there. I actually like this painting quite a bit. It would come out in the videos. And so why would I continue to, push myself and make something that I knew that I wouldn't like? It just doesn't make sense, right? I could have just pushed through it, and maybe I would have found that joy again. But, I think ultimately it would have been a lie, and I'm not much of a liar. So to lie and say that I was enjoying it, or, to try to fake it, it would have come out in my videos. So here it is. Here's this final painting. You could call this my return, my triumphant return. I actually really like this painting. There's a little bit of glare there, so maybe I'll hold it up. So, there it is. There is the painting. I actually do like this painting more than I thought I would. But will I make more? I'm not sure. I think maybe we'll play it by ear, see how it goes. I did enjoy making this painting, actually. I tried one other painting before this, like a day or two ago. It didn't turn out, so I was like, I don't think I'm going to come back, but I did. But ultimately, I didn't get to tell you why I came back, so maybe I'll save that for the next video so I have something to talk about. But I like this painting. I actually like it more than I thought I would. And I don't know that I'll go back to Jackson Pollock style paintings, because I threw out a lot of the stuff that I had. Maybe I'll get into that in another video as well. But ultimately, there you go. After almost 2 years, or over 2 years of inactivity, you got a painting. I hope you guys are happy. Just kidding. This was actually kind of nice to just talk to you guys and make this painting again. Maybe we'll make more, but they'll probably be this type of painting because this is what I enjoy. And if I keep trying to make paintings that other people want, I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. So anyway, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless.